Have you ever noticed that the people who try the hardest to be liked are usually the ones who get ignored? And the people who seem completely comfortable being themselves are the ones everyone wants to be around? That is not by accident. It's because men are trapped in something they don't realize even exists. And that is the approval trap. They choose careers for approval, they buy things for approval, they post for approval, they date for approval, and their entire lives are trying to get validation from people that they don't even respect. There's a great quote that I like in Fight Club with Brad Pitt. If you haven't seen that movie, you have to check it out. It's one of my favorite movies. But Brad Pitt says advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. And the things you own end up owning you. And that's such a powerful line in that movie because it makes you realize that we are always just trying to fit in, trying to seek that approval from people. And it often changes our character in the process. The crazy part is that the more approval that you seek, the less attractive you become. We're both men and women. No one wants to be around like a yes man, someone who's always approving, super nice. And dating wise, women don't like a pushover. So, gentlemen, today we are going to break down the approval trap, what it is, and how to avoid it. Couple things. We are having our meetup at the end of this year. We are aiming for late September or early October. Fill out the form. It's under this video. I'll link it below. Easy form. Takes like 5-10 minutes just to see if you are actually serious of showing up to the event and getting the results, getting all the value that we're going to have. We're going to have a lot of high level guys showing up, doing some sparring. We'll probably have some workshops, going out to Cartagena, Colombia. Cartagena is one of my favorite cities. There's just so many things to do, so many activities, a lot of pretty girls, a lot of sexy mamacitas over there. So we'll have a really good time. Do some day game, do some night game, hit up the clubs over there, do some excursions. So fill out that form if you're interested. Also, I am doing one-on-one coaching. So if you need help with any of this, leveling up your style, your image, your confidence, your frame, your training, I can get you in the right direction. So fill out that form, check out that link tree below, shoot me a DM also on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to work one-on-one with you. So what is the approval trap? This just means that decisions are driven by what other people think, not what you think. Posting for likes, dressing for validation, not speaking your mind, staying in bad relationships, avoiding risk. Approval seeking is giving other people control over your identity. That is the threat when it comes to always just trying to approve to other people, seeking that validation. And the reason why men fall into it is because most men weren't taught confidence. They were taught compliance. To be nice, don't rock the boat, don't upset anyone, always fit in, seek approval. Ever since we were in kindergarten, get in line, be quiet, go to this class at this certain time. And we just become programmed to that compliance over time, and it just feels natural. And that is where the issue lies, that you have to break that compliance. You have to sometimes do what you want to do, what your intuition is telling you that you have to do. We stop asking what do I want in the process and start asking what will people think. We're always trying to prove to our parents, and this is another line in Fight Club, right? You're trying to prove to your parents, to your family, to your culture, and you start to just fall in line, just do whatever everyone else does. And that's the issue because a lot of people don't really have anything figured out. Everyone's figuring out things as we go. So you have to start forging your own path. So the 5 approval traps. The first one is the people pleaser. So that's a guy that's always trying to please people, always saying yes, even though he wants to say no. And he never stands up for his choices. Like if someone tells him, hey, go do this, he'll do it. The problem with this is that it creates resentment. Underneath, he's harboring all that resentment because he can't say no. It's important to be able to say no to things, say no to people, say no to events. If it's standing in the way of your goals or your boundaries, your standard, you have to say no. That's just going to make you feel better, going to secure your time, that you're not wasting any time. And also, people are just going to respect you more because you value your time. The second one is the validation addict. So this is the guy, I think women fall into this a lot more, which is that they are always seeking approval, especially like on social media. We're in the digital age where everyone is posting for likes. And this can create instability, a lot of emotional instability, a lot of mental health disorders as well. Because if you're always looking for that validation and you don't get it, it's going to just disrupt your emotional stability, your central nervous system as well. And that causes a lot of havoc. The third is the performer. So that's a guy that's always like wearing a mask. He's always performing for people. Then we have the chameleon. So the chameleon is the guy that can easily camouflage into different situations, right? Doesn't have any identity because he just agrees with the people that he's currently in that social circle. They just kind of go with the flow, agree with whatever's popular in that social circle, and they just lack that identity. They don't have any beliefs or values that they are willing to stand by. And then finally, the approval buyer. So buying the Gucci, buying the Gucci, buying the car, buying the house just to flex, just to earn the admiration and respect of other people. The problem with that is that one, you can put yourself in debt, and two, it's just never enough, right? Because there's always a shinier toy. There's always going to be a new model coming out. There's always going to be something new out there, and you're never going to get that fix. The cost of approval seeking is that saying what people want to hear instead of what you actually think, over explaining yourself, defending every decision that you make, fear of rejection, meaning you're avoiding risk, opportunity, and discomfort. You don't want to get rejected. We see this a lot in game. You don't want to make that approach with that pretty girl because of that fear of rejection, need for validation, the likes, the attention, the compliments, reassurance. You need to get that boost of dopamine. I think this is more of an issue with women, but we also as men fall into this trap. Weak boundaries, meaning you're always available, always accommodating, never first. And this approval ends up creating dependence. You're depending on external things for your validation and for your success. So the advantages of having internal validation, this is powerful right here, is that you start to develop stronger boundaries for yourself. You value your time and your energy more. You don't just give it up to anybody, to any girl, to any person, because you have boundaries that you establish for yourself. You have more honest communication as well. You're able to speak directly and with clarity. And that always results in more respect with people. Me personally, I like to have guys around me that will tell me how it is. Constructive criticism. When you find guys that are actually about it, that you know that they're coming from a good place, that honest communication is always appreciated and you respect that person a lot more. Emotional independence, you don't need constant reassurance from others. You're happy the way that you are, and you're not in this emotional roller coaster that if you post something, no one likes it, or you get fewer likes, you're going to feel bad for the rest of the day because of it. If you get rejected by a girl, you don't beat yourself up. You took the shot, you took the opportunity. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out, but it's not going to stop anything. You're still going to continue thriving and doing your thing. Confidence under pressure, you stay grounded when challenged or tested. This is powerful, especially for all my fighters out there, my MMA boxers. You stay grounded. You have that confidence to stay grounded. You see this a lot when you're sparring, that under pressure, you're not folding because you have the skills necessary to back up your fighting. Respect first. So respect creates attraction, trust, and opportunity. When you meet someone that's like not always trying to approve to people, he's not that yes man, he's not that nice guy, you just automatically respect them more, and that creates more trust with that person. Also with women, they're just more attracted to it sexually because you come across as a guy that has a strong backbone and has more frame. And that self-respect creates freedom. The moment you stop needing approval is the moment people start respecting you. So when it comes to dating, this shows up in a couple of different ways. So if you're looking for that approval, you'll probably start over texting, over explaining, seeking reassurance, trying too hard. And I think this is a rite of passage that we all go through. I remember doing this stupid shit when I was in college, trying to like there was like a couple baddies that I liked back in college. And I was always just over texting, trying to like try too hard to impress them. And I noticed that repelled them. That was a huge turnoff. And through time, you start to understand that you don't need their validation. And the crazy thing about that is that they like you more because of it. You're not the guy that's over texting them and always checking up on them. And they're like, "Whoa, what's he doing?" It's like a cat. Like I saw this Dan Bilzerian quote where you're saying that like a cat, right? Women are like cats because if the less that you go seek out the cat, the easier it is for the cat to come and just sit on your lap. But when you start going to chase that cat, trying to catch him, like he's just going to try to escape, get away from you. And that's the same thing when it comes to dating. If you're over texting, over explaining, just smothering her, she's going to just try to to get away from you, try to avoid you. On the other hand, if you're doing your thing, you got your game tight, you're that G, show up. A lot of times, the cat, in this case, women, are just gonna come sit on your lap, and it's gonna make things a lot easier there. So the goal isn't to convince people to like you. The goal is to find people who naturally connect with you, with who you already are. So this is the part that it comes, right? Because in your 20s, it's important to build yourself. And as you start building yourself and you get to your 30s, people connect more with you because you're more authentic and more genuine, more real. So you don't want to convince people, you don't want to over explain, you want to make it easy and natural for people to connect with you. This also shows up with your money, man, with your bag, because if you are always seeking approval, you're always afraid to take risks, you don't take those shots, that means that you're going to stay away from negotiating for a salary. You're going to avoid disagreement, not sharing ideas. You're always staying quiet in meetings. And approval may keep you safe, but it rarely moves you forward because that guy is often overlooked for a promotion. People don't really see him as a leader because he's always just kind of like in the back, not really saying anything. And the internal validation framework. This is very important. This is probably the strongest takeaway here. You have to ask yourself these three questions. Would I still do this if nobody saw it? This goes into your character and your integrity. And then the second question is, would I still do this if nobody approved? I remember when I started training MMA, boxing, my mom was always worried, like, oh, you're going to get hurt and you're going to be in the hospital. And that was just like her way to like keeping me in her bubble, keeping me in her little cage as a parent. But I knew that I needed to start training, man. I needed to learn how to fight. I needed to learn how to defend myself. Also with traveling, when I told my family that I was going to start traveling abroad, they were like, "Oh, it's too dangerous." That I heard this on the news that something's gonna happen to you. And I was like, "Man, I'm gonna still do what I gotta do. I don't care if anybody approves because this is something that I've always wanted to do." You gotta ask yourself, would I still do this if nobody approved? And third, am I doing this from conviction or validation? Conviction is a powerful, powerful word because conviction means that you stand on your beliefs, on your values. Validation is that you're just doing it to validate yourself for other people's approval. So conviction, like in fighting, guys that I highly respect are Habib, Conor McGregor, even Ilya Topuria, and a lot of times these guys are controversial. They're very polarizing. Even Andrew Tate, like he can be very polarizing, but he has a lot of strong conviction that I respect. Some of them are Muslim. They practice their faith. They're heavy into their faith. They're always speaking about their faith, and that's respectable. Even though I don't follow Islam, there's a lot of things that I really like and pull from Islam, but it's not my faith. I'm Catholic. I'm Christian. I still respect these guys because of their conviction. Same thing with Conor McGregor. He stands on his beliefs and he's able to back it up. That's why also fighting is very important. If you know how to fight, you can develop more conviction because if somebody disagrees with you, you still have the tools necessary to back it up. When you don't know how to fight, you're just always kind of like submissive. You have that submissive energy where you just kind of go with the flow and you just agree with people. Whatever they say, you're just always agreeing, looking for that validation. So confidence isn't believing everyone will like you. Confidence is being okay even if they don't. The strongest men need the least validation. The man who needs the least approval often has the most influence. So that is the approval trap. Don't fall into always seeking external validation, trying to please other people. It's important to have your own convictions, stand on what you believe in, and also listen to your intuition. Listen to what you think is right for your path, for your life. Gentlemen, like I mentioned, we are having our meetup at the end of this year, late September or early October. Fill out that form. We're going to Cartagena, Colombia. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of great guys out there. Also, if you're interested in working one-on-one, shoot me a DM. As always, stay fresh and stay confident. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.